So Carl Paladino is the Donald Trump chairman in New York for the campaign. So that's who he was. He had run for governor. He was a Republican nominee in the state of New York, and he is currently a Buffalo Republican politician. So, and if you live in New York, you know the guy because he's been outrageous before, maybe not quite as outrageous as he is today. And of course, I'm progressive. He's a massive, in my opinion, idiotic right-winger, so I think he's a loon. But I bring you his resume because a legitimate, very legitimate part of the Republican Party, New York Republicans, had him as their nominee for governor. He was the chairman of the Trump campaign in the state of New York. Get a load of the outrageous comments he made to ArtVoice. So I'm going to read you the first comments about Barack Obama and Valerie Jarret. They are horrible, but I believe the ones about Michelle Obama are worse. I will read that to you second. So he says, Obama, referring to Barack Obama, this is his wish for 2017, that Obama catches mad cow disease after being caught having relations with a Herford. That is not a thing. Of course, he said the wrong word. He dies before his trial and is buried in a cow pasture next to Valerie Jarret. That's one of his top advisors, who died weeks prior after being convicted of sedition and treason when a Jihady cellmate mistook her for being a nice person and decapitated her. Okay. Now, I remember a day in America when people in the two parties did not talk in insane, outrageous, unbelievable ways like this. And it wasn't that long ago. Can you imagine if Nancy Pelosi said, oh, my wish for 2005 is that George Bush gets mad cow disease, dies, get buried in cow manure, and that his top advisor, Dick Cheney, or name him, Paul Wolfowitz, or any of those guys, Condoleezza Rice, okay, another woman, Condoleezza Rice is decapitated by a jihadi. Can you imagine if a Democratic politician said that? They'd be ridden out of town. They'd be tarred and feathered. So now this guy says it. It's a small controversy. We'll see if the Trump campaign disowns him. And besides which, okay, we'll look for Republican officials and what they do. But Republican voters, is this who you are? And maybe it is. And then you say, okay, raise your hand. Hey, Paladino, he's my guy. Hey, he's not politically correct. He looks forward to the president and their advisors being decapitated by jihadis. Okay, then that's who you are. And let us know how dark and dismal and mean and full of hatred and fear you are. Okay, then at least we'll know better. Now, you can't get more violent than that first set of comments. But the comments about Michelle Obama are in some ways worse, not because he wishes terrible things upon her, but the way that he characterized her. So I'll give you his exact words. He said, Michelle Obama, I'd like her to return to being a male and let loose in the outback of Zimbabwe, where she lives comfortably in a cave with Maxie, the gorilla. Now, if you've been following the news, you know what he's going to say next. When challenged about these outrageously racist comments, what's he going to say? I'm not a racist. Oh, no, calling the First Lady a gorilla, saying that I hope she gets released into the wilderness. That's not, where would you get the idea that that's racist? So here we go. He said afterwards, he told the Albany Times-Union, it has nothing to do with race. Yeah, calling a black person a gorilla. I don't know where people got that race idea. It has nothing to do with race. That's the typical stance of the press when they can't otherwise defend the acts of the person being attacked. First of all, look, I've got my own set of criticism for Barack Obama and Valerie Jarret, and I think they were far too establishment. I can criticize them all day and all night, and I have for 8 straight years. I didn't ask for terrible things to happen to them because I'm a decent human being, unlike you, Paladino. You're scum of the earth. So I hope you're not offended because I know that you're not politically correct. So hey, what's good for the goose, right? Okay, on Michelle Obama, I don't know what she's ever done to anybody. Michelle Obama, the only stance she took in 8 years as First Lady was for kids to be a little bit more fit so they wouldn't get diabetes. What part of that deserves this kind of scorn? And you wouldn't have, like Laura Bush. I couldn't stand George W. Bush. I couldn't stand Dick Cheney. I thought they did a horrible job. There's nothing wrong with Laura Bush. Laura Bush never hurt anybody. She never said the wrong thing. She never got involved in politics. Why would I say outrageous things about Laura Bush? But to them, They don't like the Obamas. They don't like Michelle Obama. And every rational human being knows that saying what he said about Michelle Obama is deeply, deeply racist. And I know you're not offended, Paladino, because you don't want to be politically correct. You can say anything you want, I can say anything I want, okay? You're a racist prick, and everybody but your fellow racist pricks recognize that. So that's apparently news to you, but that's the reality. So let me give you more of his BS excuses. He says, it's about two progressive elitist ingrates who have hated their country badly and destroyed its fabric in so many respects in 8 years. So, look, you want to talk about progressive elites? No problem. Okay, that's normal political discourse. Ingrates, I know, they're a little uppity. I got you, Paladino. But but who cares? I let all that stuff go, okay? But that's the Obama and Jarret things. That's not Michelle Obama. You got no excuse for that. He goes on. As for Barack, he's a yellow-bellied coward who left thousands to die in Syria and especially Aleppo, and he gets on TV, says he feels bad, he couldn't do anything about it. Hey, you moron of morons, your guy, Donald Trump, is happy about what happened in Aleppo. You know who did most of the bombing in Aleppo? Russia. Your new best friend, you schmuck. The guy you supported actually says Russia did the right thing in Aleppo. You're criticizing Obama for being a coward and not doing enough to help the people of Aleppo? Your men applauded as those people died in Aleppo. He said, good for Putin, he's being strong. You don't even know your own party's stance. You're one of the dumbest guys alive. And then I know you're not offended, though, because you don't like political correctness. Okay, and finally he says, and yes, it's about a little deprecating humor, which America lost for a long time. Merry Christmas and tough luck if you don't like my answer. Okay, first of all, again, you schmuck, because you have such a low IQ. You're one of the dumbest people I've ever heard from. It's self-deprecating humor. Deprecating humor where you make fun of other people is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not a thing where you get to say, yeah, but I was just being deprecating. That's not a defense, okay? And you're not a comedian. You're a politician. And it wasn't self-deprecating. It was actually attacking other people. God, you're so monumentally dumb. Okay, and finally, I know that you're not offended by anything I say about you, because if you are, tough luck, okay? If you don't like my answer, it is what it is. You are incontrovertibly, I know that's a word you don't understand because you're a really, really dumb person, incontrovertibly racist. You're irredeemably racist. And if you're crying a tear for Paladino now because I called him a racist, stop being such a special snowflake. Okay, get out of your safe space where I just triggered you and realize that if you call black people gorillas, especially for no goddamn reason, that's because you're a goddamn racist. You want to have other criticism of that, of them? Of course. I've criticized Obama for 8 straight years. So don't hide and pretend and make excuses. Oh, well, we can't criticize black people. No, of course you can, on the issues. But if you criticize them by saying, hey, I wish they would be decapitated, by the way, Valerie Jarret, also black. He just happened to pick the 3 black people. And one should be decapitated, the other one should be burned and get mad cow disease and buried in manure. And then the third one should be released as a gorilla, let alone the comments about her being a male. You're not just a bad person, Paladino. You're a piece of garbage racist. Once you become a member of the Young Turks, you're going to be thinking, Sarabies! TYTnetwork.com/join.